Hi everyone, my name is Spencer Nugent and today I'll be doing a quick demonstration using Copic branded product. As an industrial designer, I love to sketch and I especially love using Copic branded products, and today I'll be sketching a shoe and using markers to help me illustrate and show the concept. So here I have all my materials. I'll be using, to start, some Copic Multiliner pens to my left here. And they come in different sizes, 0.03, 0.1, 0.3, 0.7, and I have another set as well that includes a brush tip pen, which is pretty handy in giving me some expressive strokes and lines. I also have here a set of markers. I'm going to be working with some warm grays, W5, 7, 3, 4, and 0. Got my 7 to my right here. And these will help me set up the general tone in my drawing. I've also got some set colors from the yellow-red family, or as I like to call it, orange, in 3 distinct values. I've also got an air can, which I'll be using to tone as I sketch, and an X-Acto knife for creating a mask when I'm using the air can. I'm also using a high-quality marker paper. It's not exactly Copic branded, but it is, as it says, the best paper for Copic markers, and in my experience that is the case. To start, I'm going to use my W0 marker, which is my lightest. I always try to go light to dark, or light till you get it right. So this will help me roughen the design for my shoe sketch here. And by doing this, I can give myself a nice template or underlay with which to work. My lines are fluid, consistent, and again, very light so that I can work out the design as I go. Now, you may or may not be able to see this very well in the video, but like I said, I'm using a W0 marker and it gives me a nice light stroke. Now that my marker underlay is complete, I can break out my multiliners. I'm going to start with a 0.1 line weight and go from there. And this way I can work with a light, thin line until, again, I get it right. Later, I'll be using a heavier line weight to also block out and define some other details as I go. The multiliners are great because they don't bleed when I apply my marker. They're very fluid and they work really well on this marker paper. Feel free to skip ahead, or if you like, enjoy the music while I finish up this line drawing. By going over key areas a few times, I can increase my line weight and the amount of detail that I'm showing in the sketch. For example, in the heel area of the shoe, as well as those straps that wrap around the mid and forefoot, I'm able to create a sense of depth with just a little bit of variation in the line weight. Again, with a little extra effort, I can create some more details in the tread of the shoe by just going over a couple key areas a few times and filling that in. Another option would be to use the Copic Multiliner brush pen. It's the thickest of the bunch, but it gives you a nice varied line weight, and I'll be breaking that out a little bit later. I can now use the Copic Multiliner brush pen to enhance the outer perimeter of the drawing. Using an X-Acto or craft knife, I can now take to my mask drawing and cut out the areas in which I don't want the Copic aircan application to affect. In essence, I'm creating a negative outline drawing of those areas so that I can then cut them out. To protect my drawing, I've obtained a simple manila folder. I'm using that as a cutting mat. Of course, if you have a cutting mat, you can go ahead and use one of those as well. Now our mask is complete. I can go ahead and use that, adjusting it and positioning it on the drawing so that I'm only isolating the areas in which I want to shade or tone. The aircan's great. It has a slot for the marker, and by positioning it in properly, I can then squeeze the trigger, and essentially I have an airbrush on the go. And it's really handy for creating some nice tone throughout my drawing, in this case to emphasize or enhance the overall shape of the shoe. By starting with the W5 marker, I can then go darker if I need to. So I'm going to switch out here and pop in my W7 marker. And now I can enhance even further the tone of this region of the shoe. As you can see, there's some really nice contrast and exciting things happening in this particular area of the shoe to create a sense or an effect of being round. Now that I've set up my basic neutral tones, I'm going to switch over to colors, starting with my YR marker. And again, I'm going to go light till I get it right. I'm using a YR04, yellow orange 4. And the Copic markers are great. The colors are coded pretty well. And what I like to do is find 3 markers that are within the same color family and about 20% or so different in value. And that way I can, for one, save a little bit of money, but 2, create a nice set of blends if I need to. Copic markers blend really well, especially on high quality marker paper. So they're really a joy to use, almost as if you're painting or using a really high quality medium. I've now switched over to a B14 or light blue just to add a couple accent colors here toward the front on the forefoot as well as on the tongue. And now I'm using my W7 marker to lightly shade in, or not lightly, but actually fill in some of these areas on the tongue. You'll notice that I'm using the super brush end of the marker, and that's because I have some areas that are a little bit intricate and I want to use the nice fine-tipped portion of the brush as well as the ability to almost kind of bend the brush to fill those larger areas as well. Now that my colors are blocked in, I'm popping out the multiliners again just to help crispen things up a bit. And again, they're great for this. They don't mess with the marker application much or at all, and they are pretty much fantastic. As you can see, by just emphasizing or enhancing the line work little by little as we go, I'm able to really enhance the sketch and bring out some more life as we go. I'm now going to use a darker orange. I have a 9 and a 14. And I'm going to use those to enhance the region that's in line with my shadow core along the outer perimeter of the shoe. In this way, I'm reinforcing the idea to the viewer that indeed the shoe is contoured and perhaps would conform to the shape of a foot that was inside the shoe. I'm now going to use my multiliner to fill in the area in which I've outlined essentially a drop shadow for the shoe to help ground it on the page. And I'm going to do this using what I call a motor stroke, which is a quick succession of lines that are parallel to each other and evenly spaced so as to create the illusion that this is somewhat filled in. Rather than repeating and using the marker again, I'm able to create an interesting dynamic in the sketch. Well, thanks for watching. Here's a scan of the final product. Be sure to check out my website at sketchaday.com or become a fan at facebook.com/sketchaday. Thanks again.